Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is February 7th, 2024, and the Committee of Competition have rejected Barcelona's appeal and upheld Vitor Roque's red card. Also, I will discuss with you the two options that Barcelona are currently considering for the left back position. And finally, Rafa Silva has been offered to Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is Barca News' official live podcast, which is on every Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where not only do we discuss Barcelona news, but I also get to interact with all of you, reading your comments out loud, answering any questions, and getting the discussion going. This is not to be confused with the Barca News post-match live analysis, which is where we discuss the match analysis of Barcelona's as soon as those matches end, and it's also live. Now, having said that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. We're currently having a pretty good sale, a winter sale, so check it out. And also, make sure you hit the Bet Us if you want to place any sports bets on any sporting events. Both links for Bet Us and kit bag are down below in the description. Now, let's dive right into the news because Barcelona started training once again for the first time this week today. As I reported before, Xavi Hernandez had given the team 2 days off. So they took Monday and Tuesday off after a hectic calendar that the team had. So today was the first training back since Sunday, where the team had that recovery session right after the Alaves match. And while the team is now back into training, preparing for the weekend match against Granada, a very important match. Pretty much every match from here until the end of the season will be an extremely important match because given the team's placement on La Liga table and given that the 4 spots for the Champions League are currently not guaranteed. Now, speaking of the Granada match, one player will be for sure missing, and that is Vitor Roque, whose red card has been upheld by the committee of referees. Now, we all saw the total badness in the match against Alaves, where Vitor Roque was tackled, and instead he received a second yellow card, which became a red and got expelled. Barcelona appealed that decision to the committee of referees, and the committee of referees today rejected Barcelona's appeal, saying that there was no evidence that pointed to the fact that the referee had made a mistake that, granted or prompted or, needed correction, because in the referee, in his report, had written that Vitor Roque had committed a reckless tackle against Alaves' defender. And according to the committee of referees, none of the evidence that Barcelona had submitted pointed to the fact that there was a mistake. Now, Barcelona's argument was that it wasn't Vitor Roque who committed the reckless tackle. It was the Alaves' defender that committed the reckless tackle against Vitor Roque, and that Vitor Roque was only moving his leg out the way. But again, committee of competition rejecting this, saying that there was no evidence to point to the fact that the referee made a mistake. Now, I want you to look once again at this image, and I'm going to make it full size so you can look at it good. Here's the image. Here's Alaves' defender going and tackling Vitor Roque with his studs up, which, by the way, that's a dangerous tackle in any league. This could have easily got him a yellow card. And there's Vitor Roque moving his leg out the way, because had he not moved his leg out the way, he could have easily broken his ankle. But according to the referee, this was a reckless tackle by Vitor Roque. Where is the tackle? I do wear glasses. You guys always see me put my glasses on when I have to read the comments. So I do use glasses. So maybe you guys have a better vision than me. And maybe you could explain to me, where is Vitor Roque's tackle exactly? Because the referee said that Roque committed a reckless tackle, and the committee of referees agree with him and said that there's no evidence to point otherwise. If you see the tackle, please let me know, because I don't. Maybe it's my vision. Maybe I'm crazy. But I don't see any tackle from Vitor Roque. Now, let me show you another image. Let me show you this image. This is Nacho tackling a Girona player with his studs up. Brutal foul, by the way. He did receive a red card, and he initially got a 3-match suspension. Now, Real Madrid appealed this, and a committee of competition reduced the suspension of Nacho from 3 to 2 matches. So happened to be Nacho was supposed to miss El Clásico match against Barcelona, but with the reduction of his suspension from 3 to 2 matches, he magically was available to play for Real Madrid against Barcelona in El Clásico match when Real Madrid had no defenders because most of them were injured. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, apparently this right here, this brutal tackle, which, by the way, if the Girona player's foot had been on the grass, if he had been stepping, putting weight on his foot, this nasty tackle would have easily broken his leg, and that player's season would have been completely over. Okay? But despite how nasty this tackle is, the committee of competition thought that it was a mistake to suspend Nacho for 3 matches, that 2 matches were enough. But this is not a mistake. This is okay, right? This is definitely a reckless tackle by Vitor Roque. This is not too bad, right? 3 matches, that's too much. Let's just give him 2. That's not too brutal. But this is, right? Now let's look at another image. Here's Vinicius Jr. clearly slapping a Valencia player in the face. He also got a red card for this. Real Madrid appealed this to the committee of referees, committee of competition, and the committee of competition completely removed the red card and the suspension because they said Vinicius Jr. had been racially abused by the fans, and therefore this was justified. So this is justified. It's okay for Vinicius to hit somebody in the face. The referee made a mistake in not taking into consideration that the fans had abused them. But this is not a mistake. This is fine. This is a reckless tackle by Roque, and therefore he deserved his second yellow. But Vinicius hitting someone else, that's a mistake. By the way, Valencia ended up closing an entire stand in the Valencia Stadium, the one behind the goal where the racial abuse came from, for 5 matches, costing Valencia I don't know how many tens of thousands of euros. Because when it comes to racial abuse, Real Madrid, the Royal Spanish Football Federation, only care when it's directed towards Vinicius. They don't care when Ansu Fati gets racially abused, which he did a lot of times in La Liga. That doesn't matter. They don't care that the Williams brothers, Nico and Iñaki, constantly being called monkeys, having bananas thrown at them, the stadium making monkey noises. That doesn't matter. Who cares? They don't play for Madrid. Who cares about it if they're getting racially abused? But if Vinicius Jr. gets racially abused, my God, stop everything. So this is where we are, folks. This is where we are. I honestly don't know what else to say. I don't think there's anything else that can be said. I have never seen this kind of shit in La Liga. I mean, La Liga have always not been the best when it comes to refereeing. Madrid has always been favored by referees. But the level of incompetence, the level of favoritism that we're seeing this season is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it in the 15, 20 years that I've been watching football. And the worst about this is that the committee of competition are doubling down. They're saying, okay, no, yeah, he made a mistake, but we're doubling down. We'd rather be wrong than admitting that we were wrong. which is insane to me because La Liga as an institution, just like any other institution around the world, whether a company, business, etc., as an institution should always be looking to improve. They should be reviewing all their mistakes, trying to learn from them, trying to prevent them from happening so they can continue to improve. But instead, they're not interested in that. They're just interested in being right. That's all. And that's a problem because the Royal Spanish Football Federation, La Liga, it's a company, it's a business, right? Their business is football. We are the customers. So instead of learning and improving season after season, so they can continue retaining their customers and they can keep bringing more customers, they don't care about any of that. They're just happy doubling down on their mistakes, which is, to me, is absolutely insane. But that's the state of the Spanish league. Anyways, let's do the chat section. Let's do a few comments, and then we will talk about an interesting graphic I came across, which is the table of La Liga of what it would look like without the VAR. And you're not going to be surprised, but of course, we have to talk about it. Anyways, Baby Scumbag says, what's up, Mo? Who would you prefer as a coach and why, Hansi or Julian? Julian, what's Julian? There's a few Julian coaches. Let me know, and I'll let you know. And Stanley says, La Liga is just a joke. Just cancel the season and give Madrid the trophy. Pretty much. I don't know why we're wasting our time watching all these matches, having teams travel between cities, having players getting injured, fatigued. Just cancel it. Save us all the time, the trouble, and just give the trophy to Madrid. Blanana Kule says, Vitor Roque's red card not being rescinded has just further increased my absolute hatred for this poor-ass excuse of a league. I agree, my friend. And King Hud says, hey, Mo, I'm officially done with this bullshit league. Nacho goes through a player. Suspension is shortened. Okay. Okay, avoids a player and injuring himself. Red card. Let's not forget about Lewandowski's touching his nose. That merited a 3-match ban. 3-match ban for doing this, but Nacho can come close to breaking a player's leg, and his suspension gets shortened to 2. So what La Liga is telling us is that it's better to almost break a player's leg than touch your nose. That's the message they're sending. Hey, players, you can tackle the shit out of each other. Just make sure to never touch your nose because that will get you a 3-match suspension, right? Valverde punched a player in his face after the match in the stadium. Punched him. All right, punched him. Nothing. Not a suspension, not a fine, nothing. But again, Lewandowski touches his nose, 3-match ban. Right? Vitor Roque moves his leg out the way, otherwise it's broken into 2. That's a 1-match suspension. So what La Liga is telling us, it's okay to punch other people, but make sure you don't touch your nose. You better not do that. But it's okay if you punch him. So I guess Lewandowski should have just punched the referee instead, rather than touching his nose. That would have been the better option, according to this joke of a league. But anyways, let's do one more comment, and then we'll talk about the La Liga table without VAR. Cox says, hey, Mo, should we start Lewandowski because of experience in the Champions League, or should we play Roque and Lewandowski as a partnership? That's a good question. I think the safer bet would be Lewandowski. Of course, he has won it already. He has the experience. So I would rather start him and then bring in Roque later. I don't know if Roque would be ready for the Champions League. We've seen that he's still not quite ready for La Liga yet. He's still lacking that speed. He looks a little bit slow, but that's normal. He just came from the Brazilian league, is not as fast as or as competitive as the Spanish league. So I'm sure I have no doubts that he will eventually catch up. So we've seen that he's a little bit behind still in La Liga. The Champions League is even a level higher. So I would want to see him come in later. I wouldn't start him. I don't think he's ready for that yet. But anyways, let's go back and talk about, since we started talking about the joke of these referees in the Spanish league. Let's look at this interesting chart that an organization, I think it's called Archivo VAR, which pretty much tracks VAR decisions all across the league. Every match, they look at the VAR decisions or lack of decisions to see if the VAR got it right, if they got it wrong, if the VAR completely missed it, like we've seen a lot with Barcelona this season. And based on that, they publish all of that, and based on that, they made this table. Now, if you look at this table, and I'll make it bigger, it says, without the VAR, this is what the table would look like right now. Girona would be in first place with 54 points. Barcelona in second with 53. Real Madrid third, 53. Atletico de Madrid 49. Athletic Club de Bilbao 46. And Real Sociedad 39. Now, this is what the table currently looks like. We have, first place Real Madrid with 58. I'll make this a little bit bigger. In second place is Girona with 56, and Barcelona are third with 50. So without the VAR, Barcelona would have 3 more points from 50 to 53, and Madrid would have 5 less points with 53 rather than 58. And Girona, I think Girona would have 2 points less too. So Girona and Madrid would have less points, with Barcelona having more if the VAR did not exist or had those calls made correctly. Now, I'm usually not a fan of these kind of tables because VAR getting the call correctly does not guarantee you the points. For example, the VAR gotten a penalty kick that you didn't get. Had VAR gotten a call right, you're not guaranteed to score that penalty kick, right? You can easily miss it. And even if you do score it, there's no guarantee that the other team, once being scored on, gets all of a sudden super motivated and scores another goal, and then the result ends up the same. Or maybe they even score 2 goals because they get really motivated and you get really nervous and you actually end up losing. And the result ends up being worse. Right? So there's no guarantee. So I don't like when they, try to add the points because, again, you're not guaranteed the points even if the VAR gets it right. But the reason it is important to pay attention to this table is because it shows that the VAR mistakes have been in favor of Real Madrid, but they've been against Barcelona. So I think a better table would be to show the teams how many VAR mistakes in their favor versus how many VAR mistakes against them. I think that would be a better table versus saying, oh, here's the position of the teams and the points they would have. Because again, you're not guaranteed those points, even if the VAR gets it correctly. So I think what this table does show is how much VAR has favored Real Madrid versus how much it has disfavored Barcelona, which goes to all the points that we've been bringing up before. All the penalty kicks that we didn't get, Roque's red card, but yet all the penalty kicks that Madrid does get, they're questionable, or the penalty kicks that they do not get against them, which are pretty clear as daylight. And that's only further highlights the problem that we're currently having. Now, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think La Liga is rigged. I don't think Florentino Perez is dropping bags of cash at the doors of referees or wiring them money. I think this is pure incompetence. I think this is mediocrity. And there is favoritism towards Real Madrid, don't get me wrong. But I think that mostly stems from the fact that most referees are Madridistas. And this is not an opinion, this is a fact. You can look it up. Most referees of La Liga are Madridistas. Most people in power are Madridistas, whether in charge of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, whether they're in charge of the Committee of Referees, Committee of Competition, or even La Liga itself. Javier Tebas, he's a self-declared Madridista. He doesn't even hide it. So Madrid are clearly favored. And that's because most of the people in charge, most of the refs are Madridistas. There's no doubt about that. I don't think it's rigged. I think what we're seeing is total incompetence and mediocrity of Spanish refereeing. And if that doesn't change, this La Liga viewership will only keep decreasing and decreasing, as we're already seeing it. We've already dropped from first to second, second to third. Both the Premier League and the Bundesliga are ahead of us. And if La Liga doesn't do something about this, or the Royal Spanish Football Federation, they're in charge of the referees, they don't do something, this is only going to get worse. There's no doubt about it. And this table highlights it. And what I just talked about Vitor Roque, Nacho, etc., that highlights it pretty clear. It's very clear there's a problem with Spanish refereeing. And this problem needs to be addressed, or this La Liga will continue to suffer. Anyways, let's get back. Oh, I did forget to mention about Vitor Roque. Barcelona has 10 days to appeal the decision of the Committee of Competition. Barcelona have said they will appeal it, but they're not really feeling positive about it. They're feeling like, the result's going to be the same, which is most likely that's what it's going to be. Anyways, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about the left-back position, because that's a position that Barcelona are looking to reinforce in the summer, and I will tell you about Barcelona's options to reinforce the left-back position. Let's see. Brian says clearly the defender is the one making a tackle. Don't tell that to the Committee of Competition or Competition Committee, whatever the hell they're called. And Ricardo says, this is a Madrid and ref, La Liga, lady and gentlemen. Yes, it is, my friend. Yes, it is. Laurana Correa says that should just change the name of La Liga to La Madriga. I actually like that. That's not bad. Emza says, morning, Mo. I'm in South Africa. We're a bit sad as a country or a team. But Bafana just got knocked out by Nigeria. But I'm a Barcelona fan, and my team is playing better. So I'm okay. That's a spray, my friend. As long as you can see improvement in your team, that's good, because losing, getting knocked out, that's part of the game. It happens. But as long as your team is better than before, that's all that matters. That's all we could do. And that's just life advice in general. Life is going to knock you down. You're going to suffer losses. But as long as you can wake up the next day and say, today I'm better than yesterday, that's all that matters. All right, let's see what else. Olga says, I don't care whatever. It's Barcelona is still the best in the world. Amen, my friend. Visca Barça. And King City says, Mo, I could have bet my house that Vitor Roque's red card wasn't going to be overturned. Yeah, and I said it in the channel before. I said I don't have my hopes up at all about the card being reversed. History's a good teacher, and you shouldn't bet your house anyway. But that's another life advice. Anyways, let's get back and talk about the left back position, because as I reported in yesterday's video, Marcos Alonso will 100% leave the club in the summer. His contract expires in the summer. Barcelona have no intention of renewing it. And it's already being reported, and I've reported about this several times, is that Marcos Alonso has actually been in negotiations with Atletico de Madrid. El Cholo Simeone wants him on his team. So it's looking like Marcos Alonso will end up leaving as a free agent to the Madrid-based club. Of course, that can change. Maybe another team swoops in. Wherever he ends up, he ends up. But one thing is for sure is that he's not going to end up in Barcelona, because his contract is up and the club have no plans to renew him, which begs the question, who will be Alejandro Valde's competition in that position? Because Jordi Alba left. Now Alonso's leaving. That only leaves us one left back, which is Alejandro Valde. And the two options that Barcelona are now seriously considering, and this is being confirmed by the club, is number one is, of course, Sergi Cardona. Now, I talked about Sergi Cardona in a previous video. He's a 24-year-old left back who currently plays for Las Palmas. He's been with them since, I think, 2020. He has, I think, close to 200 matches with the first team of Las Palmas, or something like that. And his contract is set to expire this summer, which means he would become a free agent. So Barcelona would not have to spend money on any transfer fees. Now, of course, Sergi Cardona is having a good season under Pimienta. He's featured in most of the matches under Pimienta. And given his good performance, he has attracted the attention of other clubs. So Barcelona will definitely have competition in that arena. But just know that he will be a free agent. So Barcelona will not have to fork out any money for Sergi Cardona. Now, the second option is, of course, the most obvious one is Alex Valle. We don't know who he is. He's a Barca Academy player. He's currently on loan with Levante in the second division. He's been doing really good in the second division, and there's a lot of positive reports coming back from his performance with Levante. And in fact, Bojan Krkić, as you guys probably already know, I talked about this a lot. Bojan Krkić, the former Barcelona player, was hired by the club in the summer. His job is to track players who are currently on loan to see how they're doing in other teams. And while Bojan Krkić has been following Alex Valle pretty closely, he's even gone to see his matches. He's talked to the player, he's met with the player, and Bojan Krkic's reports have been pretty positive. So the club are happy with his performance. Of course, he would be another option, another free option, because of course he's on loan, so we don't have to pay a transfer fee, and he will be coming back. Now, the club are in contact with the agents of both players right now. They have reached out to Eric Cardona's agents to let him know that Barcelona are interested in signing him. And they're also talking to Alex Valle's agent to see, what the player is feeling like. Does he want to come back to Barca and play, etc. So definitely two very real options. Would love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the chat section or the comment section if you're watching once the live stream ends. Let me know who you guys would prefer. Would you prefer Alex Valle? He's 18 or 19, or Eric Cardona, who's 24. He's a little bit older. Let me know down below. And let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Rafa Silva, who has been offered to Barcelona. All right, let's see. RB says, Mo, we're in theater named La Liga, and the president of this theater is Florentino Perez. We shouldn't expect anything more. I agree, my friend. I agree. It's a sad, sad reality, but what can we do? And El Hashim says, Girona getting robbed versus Real Madrid next match. They're already getting robbed. The committee of competition just gave Mitchell, Girona's coach, 2-match suspension after the red card he received. So he will miss the match against Real Madrid. They also gave a yellow card that shouldn't have been yellow card to their Dutch defender. What's his name? Blind? It's spelled blind, but I don't think it's blind. I think it's blind. So he's going to miss the Real Madrid match as well. And he's a very important player in the Girona squad. So they're going to be without coach. They're going to be without one of their most important defenders. So, I mean, like I said before, just cancel La Liga already and just give the trophy to Madrid. I don't know what we're doing, wasting our time. Let's see. King City FC says Real showing up with 15 players against Girona. It would be 17. No, wait, how many refs are there? There's 4 on the field, and I think there's 2 in the VAR room, so 6. So Madrid is actually showing up with 17 players. And Adidas is going to have to kick in high gear. They're going to have to make some extra jerseys. Let's see. What else? Richard says, any news on Kimmich or Subimendi? Subimendi is Xabi's request. Xabi's leaving, so that name will probably not sound as much. Who knows? Maybe the next coach that comes says, I like Subimendi as well. But the Subimendi name is definitely going to lose some weight now that Xabi will be leaving. As far as Kimmich, I mean, it's practically impossible, honestly. Is there a chance? Sure. But, I mean, is there a chance I become a millionaire one day? Maybe. But, it's like, I don't know about that. Anyways. Let's get back to the last bit of news, and then we'll do a few more comments. But let's talk about this guy, Rafa Silva. If you don't know who he is, he's a 30-year-old center forward, Portuguese center forward, who currently plays for Porto. I think that's Porto. Sorry, Benfica. I always confuse him. I always confuse the Portuguese teams. I don't know why. He plays for Benfica. Center forward, Benfica, now Porto. He has scored 13 goals, provided 11 assists this season so far, and his contract expires at the end of the season in the summer. He has already told Benfica that he has no plans of renewing. So he will become a free agent for sure. And as such, he has been offered to Barcelona. Who has offered him? His agent. Who's his agent? Jorge Mendes, you guessed it correctly, because of course, Jorge Mendes wants to put all his clients, from players to coaches to ball boys to water boys, he wants to put them all in Barcelona. I feel like Dora the Explorer, like giving you a moment to like, repeat after me, Jorge Mendes. But yes, Jorge Mendes is offering Rafa Silva to Barcelona. But Barcelona have come out and saying, no, we're not interested. I mean, why would Barcelona be interested? We have Lewandowski, we have Vitor Roque, we have Margiu, we have Pau Victor. We don't need another center forward, and definitely not a 30-year-old center forward. And Barcelona have said, please stop using our name to get more money for your clients. Barcelona are getting tired of this. We saw it with Bergvall, where he used us to get more money from Tottenham. We saw it with Guller, where he used us to get money from whoever was willing to offer him money ended up being Madrid. And then there's always these players being linked to Barcelona, and it's always the same tactic. Asians just saying that just to get more money from whichever club the player wants to go to. Seems that this is another case of that. Barcelona are getting tired of it. But anyways, let's get back to that chat section, and then we will end the live stream because that's all the news for today, ladies and gents. Brad says, Mo, La Liga need a massive overhaul of everyone. This needs to be fair competition, which is clearly not. You know, the chances, this is something a lot of people don't realize, is that La Liga politics goes hand in hand with Spanish politics. Madrid being favored by La Liga, the Royal Spanish Football Federation, CTA, is no different when we talk about the political realm, because it's the same. The Spanish government is very hostile towards Barcelona and Catalonia, and very much favoring Madrid being a center of power. So that's not going to happen unless you have a total overhaul of the country's politics, not just the Spanish, not just the La Liga. You're talking about overhauling the entire Spanish political arena. Talking about politicians, Congress, everything. So the chances of that happening is very, very low. Very, very, very low. Anyways. Hassan says, Mo, I hope your channel don't get copyrighted by La Liga, which many Barca channels getting. I thankfully haven't had any problems, knock on wood, but I'm also very careful about what images I select. I am an attorney, so I'm a little bit more familiar with copyright law and what kind of images you can and you can't use. Obviously, that doesn't mean that they will stop anybody from flagging them. I've been flagged before. I got flagged once by Univision. For those of you in the United States that know it, it's the Spanish-speaking channel. They flagged my video one time, try to get the profits from it. I definitely appealed it. I fought them on it, and then they ended up, before YouTube can even make a decision, Univision ended up withdrawing their flag. That's the only time I've been flagged. Oh, I got flagged again one time by Barcelona themselves, but they were right. Because I had to use one of their videos. It's when I did that video about the Spotify Come Now. I went to Barcelona. I took footages of the stadium being overhauled, and I used some images, or at least the person who was editing the video for me used some images from the Barcelona video that shows what the Camp Nou is going to look like, and they flagged me, so it ended up removing it. But I already knew that was happening, and it did. But I haven't been flagged. Hopefully it doesn't happen. If it does, I would definitely fight him on it. So we'll see. King Hut says, this summer at Sal Rafinha, Roberto. Okay. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. I feel like you cannot sell Sergi and Alonso. They are not yours. Both players' contracts expire in the summer. I see this comment almost on a daily basis. And on a daily basis, I have to say, we cannot sell Sergi. We cannot sell Alonso. The contracts expire. So they're not going to be Barcelona players, and you can't sell players that are not yours. So just to clarify, just put it out there. People, please stop saying, let's sell Sergi and let's sell Alonso. We can't. Their contracts will expire. But let's see. Rafinha, Romeo, and Eric Garcia. We should sign Cancelo and Felix officially. Aleix Garcia, bring back Fati and Julian Araujo. I would sell Rafinha. I will sell Romeo. Eric Garcia, they want to use him in operation to sign Aleix. Cancelo, the jury's still out. Felix, someone commented once saying, I would rather sell Lamine Yamal and then buy him back for 70 million than sell Joao Felix. And I couldn't agree more. I would rather sell Lamine Yamal and buy him back for sell him for 50 and buy him back for 100 rather than waste money on signing Joao Felix. I agree with that. Let's see. What else? Farid says, hi, Mo. I have a question. Real Madrid cannot grow and groom their own players like we do grow. They are always buying best players. We have one of the best academies in the world. I think it's ranked number 3, right behind Ajax. And I can't remember what other academy was ahead of us. But we have one of the best academies in the world. And nobody will be able to ever take that away from us. Let's see. Marek says, Mo, what will happen to Bellingham after what he said to Mason Greenwood? For people who don't know, Bellingham called Mason Greenwood a rapist when Madrid plays against Getafe. And if Bellingham was playing for any other team, he'd be suspended. But since he's a Madrid player, nothing. Klaus says, I understand why they are called Vardreed. By the way, the other day, someone tried to make the argument that the Negreira case was real because there's a reason why people say that Barcelona are called Barcelona. That was his only proof, by the way. The Negreira case was legit because people call Barcelona Barcelona in Europe. People are. I don't have high hopes for our planet. The dumb stuff I come across just makes me really lose hope for the future. Let's see what else. NJ Flip says, I swear when players hit 30s, it's like saying they're washed up, they can still ball out. Well, the problem is with finding, well, not everybody washes out, right? We've seen Ronaldo, he's almost 39 and is still, still competing. But most players do. Most players, once they hit past their 30, they do start. They're on a decline. I'm not saying they're washing up, but they're on a decline. A player's prime is 26, 27, right? That's when they hit the peak of the performance. From there, it starts to go down. So to buy a player on his way down is problematic for two reasons. First of all, he's not going to last long, right? He's going to be with you 2-3 seasons, and then you're going to be back in the same place looking for a replacement. Which if it's a cheap player, why not? Get him, right? No problem. The second reason why it's problematic is their price. Once a player hits his prime, from there, his price is just going to decline and decline. It becomes a depreciating asset. If you buy a player at a certain price, you know it's only going to get lower. So you're going to lose money regardless. It's like buying a car. You know that your car, the most expensive point that your car is at is right when you buy it. From there, it's only going to get lower and lower and lower. You're not going to make money off of it. And it's the same when buying a player past his prime. His price is only going to keep decreasing, so you will lose money. So I'm not saying they get washed out, but they are past their prime. And right now, we're trying to build a young project for many, many years to come. The last thing we need is players who are in their 30s who are just going to come for 1 or 2 seasons, I mean, of course, you do need some because you need a well-balanced team, a team where you have youngsters, you have veterans, and you have people in their prime. But we don't need another 30-year-old center forward. We already have one. His name is Lewandowski. All right, let's see. Mo says, update over Felix. Do I agree? No, I don't agree. Not at all. I mean, Joao Felix has more talent in his right toe than Update has in his entire body. The problem with Joao Felix is that he's lazy. He doesn't want to run. He kind of like attempts to dribble. If it works, great. If it doesn't, oh, well, I lost the ball. He doesn't want to press. He doesn't want to come back and defend. That's his problem. It's his work ethic. But talent-wise, he's one of the most talented players in the world. I would never compare him to Abde. Abde is like another Rafinha. He just runs like a headless chicken. Just run, up and down the flank. Run. What are you running for? I don't know. I'm just running. So no, I would never say that. Let's see. Baby's comeback clarifying. He meant Nagelsmann. So Hansi or Nagelsmann? I think Hansi. Just because his achievements. Not to say that Nagelsmann is a bad coach. Let's see. James says Germany tactics will be fresh for La Liga. Indeed, my friend. Indeed. And the Matrix says Callado is the one I think would be great turnout to be a flop so far. Who's Callado? Casado? Say you talking about? King City FX says, man, a dream could come true. I want Leo for the left side. Oh, Leao. I'm guessing you're talking about Leao. Leao's not coming. Leao, I think, costs something like 100 plus. There's no way we can afford that. Anyways, that is all for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in, for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. I will see you in tomorrow's video. I already posted an earlier video today. Lots of good news in it. Go check it out. But I will see you tomorrow. Good night or good morning, wherever you are in the world. And as always, peace, guys.